Two trucks having sex. Two trucks having sex. My muscles involuntarily flex. Two trucks having sex. Two trucks having sex. My muscles involuntarily flex. Two pickup trucks making love, American made.
Listen up, Autobots and Decepticons. You're listening to Prime Cuts, a non-linear history of the Transformers franchise on television. I'm one of your hosts, Audrey.
I'm your other host, Nero.
We're still here.
Unfortunately, it continues. You know, you just had your big disappearance of Lydia Fontaine, like launch live stream. You got to hang out with all those very talented people talking about a really cool thing, and I'm glad that you got done with that, and then I opened the door and hit you with a steel chair labeled Transformers Energon and like dragged you down here to my level.
And it's Nero and Energon with the steel chair!
I have tied us both together, and there's a rock between us that is labeled Transformers Energon, and I have just kicked it over the edge of this bridge.
You put us on the trolley problem, but the person at the lever is Transformers Energon.
And
We're the two people tied to the tracks.
And you know it is not fucking turning that lever. There's no one on the other track, but it's not gonna fucking bother.
Right, exactly.
This week, we have some fun new developments in the dub where they literally just forgot to put the main thing the episode was about in it.
I literally can't do the summary for this episode, not because I wasn't paying attention. I actually paid attention a little bit more this week than usual, but because they didn't include the plot in the dub. So I actually don't know what happened.
I am linking you a comparison between Energon and Superlink, okay?
Fantastic.
It's just not there. It is literally just not fucking there. I don't understand how this happened, but it did.
This is really funny because my first note is in the second episode. Do you know how like the second episode of these starts?
It starts with Megatron building a new one of these, right?
It starts with Megatron saying like, "Go out and find this thing," and then immediately they build it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, it starts with him going like, "Mark my words, I will build a fortress," and then immediately it cuts to the fortress being there.
Yeah, because he already built one and it got blown up. He blew it up. Okay, let's get to these fucking summaries. All right.
Yeah.
We watched episodes 9 through 11 of Energon and Superlink this week, starting with Battle of the Asteroid Belt, or in Superlink, the Asteroid Belt's Battle to the Death. Nobody died here except that weird fortress. Anyway.
The through line of these episodes is Kicker's childhood trauma.
Oh my god. Yeah, okay. So you remember how I said, "Oh, Kicker, why do you hate your dad so much?"
Yeah, to be fair to him, his dad sucks shit, actually. Dr. Jones, not a good father.
I would like to rescind there's Kicker's still kind of annoying, but man, his dad is a real piece of shit.
Yeah, I have to say, it's like, by no means do you have to give it to Kicker, but it's like, I do understand why he's like this now, because that was
wild.
Fairly negligent.
Even Armada Optimus would be going like, "Hey, now that's maybe too much child endangerment there, Dr. Jones." I was routinely
and like gleeful about it.
Yeah, he loves it. He's like, "Come on, Kicker." Anyway, summary.
Come on, Kicker, you're on the clock.
There's something going on in the asteroid belt, which triggers Kicker's buried trauma memories about floating around through space.
We get excellent child voice acting here, by which I mean very, very bad. It's just Kicker's adult voice actor.
They didn't even get like a kid.
He's just going like this, Daddy.
Oh boy.
Some real 4Kids type voice acting here.
Alpha Q tells Scorponok about Starscream and tries to get him to force Megatron to make a move on Optimus. But Megatron is much more interested in beating the shit out of Demolishor and getting Energon. So he goes to blow up Lunar City, leaving Scorponok in charge of their evil floating base, which once again is not properly depicted in Energon because they forgot to put in the background paintings where it shows the big floating Unicron base.
How does that even happen?
I don't understand. Team Prime arrives at the asteroid belt, and upon finding the Unicron base, they freak the fuck out and start blasting it. Which, once again, in Energon, just looks like they're shooting in empty space.
Oh my god! Wait, yes, I remember. Oh my god!
The reason they start freaking out is because they find this thing, and someone says it looks like Unicron. It feels like Unicron,
God.
and they start shooting it. That is
Yeah,
incredibly.
shoot into space. Oh my god!
It just looks like the Autobots lose their fucking minds in the dub. It just looks
like they're on like fucking sativa.
Yeah,
it looks like
they're fucking tweaking out, just shooting at nothing.
Oh my god!
All right, Starscream shows up again to fight Optimus, while Jetfire gets taken hostage by Scorponok, and Kicker gets stranded floating through space, just like his childhood trauma. Eventually, they corner Scorponok, and Optimus asks him who the fuck Alpha Q is, but Megatron's return interrupts them. Megatron blows up the mobile base, and Kicker realizes that all the Autobots are his dads. We'll talk about that in a minute, because that scene was completely cut from Energon for reasons I literally cannot discern. And then we cut to Earth, and Dr. Jones has a crazy new plan to defend Earth, and in Superlink, he comes up to Alexis and says that she's become very mature and sexy.
I was about to say, does it involve sexually harassing Alexis? Because that happens in the dub as well.
And that wasn't a sub thing. That wasn't like, the fan subs had Scorponok say, "Don't fuck with me," which was really good. But he literally says like sexy in the sub. So jail for you.
I guess she's an adult, but still.
He met her when she was in middle school.
Yeah.
Jail for you, Dr. Jones. Okay, so
I mean, we are like putting a rap sheet together for Dr. Jones in these episodes.
This dude is going to the fucking Hague. All right. So this is probably the most like eventful of these episodes, if I had to say, in regards to like actual character stuff, for the most part.
Yeah.
So. Number one, we do actually get a lot more about Kicker's backstory. And yes, Dr. Jones was literally just using him like an Energon dowsing rod in the most insanely dangerous places ever. There's which episode
by making him do untethered spacewalks.
Yeah,
when we're talking about the most dangerous places ever, we're talking he put a jetpack on him in space.
He takes away the air hose. He's like, you got
an elementary school student. And Kicker goes out of because he's a child who doesn't know how Newton's laws work in a vacuum. He uses too much power and speeds out of control and gets out of contact and is only after hours of floating through space able to land on an asteroid and return to contact with his father. And his dad's like, "See, you're fine."
Yeah, the whole time he in Superlink, he's like, "Papa, I'm scared, Papa," and Dr. Jones is like, "Don't worry, son, I'm with you." I was like, "You're literally not. You're somewhere else. Not. You're just fucking hanging out on the Axelon or whatever, man.
You're in ground control. Go fuck yourself.
Go fuck yourself in your stupid ass hair." But yeah, so it's really hard to figure out what the fuck is happening in this episode of Energon, as we have stated several times, because the animation got really fucked up, and the whole episode centering around this big mobile base that they basically grew out of Unicron is totally incomprehensible because it's just not on screen ever.
Yeah, they all look like they're having a mass hallucination.
It feels like that watching the fucking dub sometimes.
I mean, I'm the one doing it this time, so naughty demolishers are put in the Megatron Wiggler to atone for their sins.
He fucking grabs his head, just crushes his whole ass head.
And then shakes him like a dog with a chew toy. It's great. It's actually one of the funniest moments of animation we've had so far, and I think purposely so.
Hey, Demolishor, buddy, you thinking about going back to the Autobots, man? Because let me tell you, you never got this kind of treatment back there. Yeah, maybe Ironhide was, like, sassy to you or whatever, but, like, nobody tried to squish your head like a grape. Because you said something, you said, like, hey, maybe we should do something else. And Megatron says, I'm gonna fucking kill you.
Yeah, there's also, like, this subplot in this episode of, like, Optimus not being quite right since he died again.
They're talking.
Megatron killed him.
He came back wrong. He got fucking Lazarus pitted.
Yeah, exactly. So it's, like, kind of... So, like, Kicker and Ironhide talk about it together. But, like, so they're like, hey, Optimus is doing the came back wrong trope, but in this case, it's just as kind of a dick about it.
Yeah, he's just kind of rude.
As opposed to, like, eats people or whatever.
Yeah, he's not like a sicko. He doesn't turn into Baver's Optimus. He's just, like, kind of an asshole a little bit. And, like, you know, he's probably just in a bad mood because he's probably just, like, looking over his shoulder constantly for the ghost that's hunting his ass down. Speaking of said ghost, we get a lot more Scorponok being Alpha Q's, like, man on the inside here. In this trio of episodes, because he's not about this Megatron life. He was forcibly branded with the Decepticon badge. He doesn't give a fuck about this.
So I do want to point out, like, a couple other things that are completely incomprehensible in Energon because they didn't include this. So, because of things they didn't include. So, like, during this big space battle, they're, like, getting their...
You can't figure out what's happening because, once again, the centerpiece of the space battle is invisible.
Right, because nothing is there. The Autobots are getting their asses beat. Scorponok takes out Jetfire really early, actually, in a pretty cool move using his tail.
Yeah, he fucking stabs him right in the back.
Yeah, it looks like that actually looked pretty good. I like that part. So they're getting their asses beat, and, like, Hotshot's like, okay, it's time to become pants. We gotta go. And so, like, he and Inferno combine, and Ironhide is like, I also need to combine, but then doesn't.
Because his only combination partner is being stabbed by a big scorpion currently.
Right. So he's just sort of there. But even though he's just sort of there, he's also like, okay, Kicker, you need to get off me or I'm going to squash you when I transform somehow, because we've never done this before or whatever. And so at some point between him so, like, he transforms and, like, Inferno and Hotshot combine and they go into the fray. And then the next thing we cut to is Kicker being untethered and floating through space somehow.
Yeah, so he does like jump off of Ironhide so he can transform. Ironhide doesn't say anything about combining in Superlink because obviously he can't. He says something about saving Jetfire. But yeah, Kicker is like floating through space again. And then there's the second part. Okay, so this is where I want to talk about the entire sequence that was cut for some fucking reason from Energon.
Cool. Great.
So Megatron gets really mad that everybody's here at his big cool Unicron base. So he just blows the whole thing up and forces the Autobots to retreat. And Kicker gets caught in that explosion when it goes off. And he gets like knocked around and he has like a hallucination of all of these like silhouettes of his dad asking him if he's okay, and then he like comes to and realizes that actually it was all the Autobots checking on him, which is why I had that line about all of the Autobots being Kicker's dad. This is not an Energon, and I really don't know why.
Here's the thing.
Did they not? Did they think the kids at home were too stupid to understand like very simple symbolism?
No, I don't think they thought about the kids at home at all once in the production of this series, actually. I don't think that even crossed their minds outside of the wallets that their parents own. I think most of it is probably a combination. Like, I feel like most of the things that go wrong, at least between the subs and at least between the two versions, like not talking about the objective quality of the series as their own, but like the differences between them, has to do with the combination of like crunch time, probably, of like things getting off schedule in the transfer to the US and people just not giving a shit.
Yeah. They might have just forgot to put it in.
Yeah.
Even though I kind of like that sequence of like, oh, fuck, actually, these guys are the ones watching out for me, not my fucking dad, who literally just sent me to fly off into space.
Interesting, because I'm not sure how scenes disappear from episodes.
Yeah, I don't know.
But I'm also not sure how backgrounds disappear from... You would think, right? You would think you would just get the recording. You would think that you would just get the recording of what aired in Japan and then dub over it.
I really don't understand. Like, I guess I'd have to look into, like, what order, like, if they were being made simultaneously or if there was a delay.
Yeah, maybe.
Like, because I know there was a delay between Armada and Micron Legend, where Micron Legend was airing later. So
interesting.
Perhaps it was the same situation here, but I don't remember.
Maybe.
That's
I mean,
that literally
that would
the
certainly
only
make
way.
more sense. Yeah, that would make much more sense than the opposite version.
Or like if they were working off of early cuts of animation, if it was going the other way.
Or if they just didn't have time the first time and then they were able to fix it when it re-aired in Japan.
I think that was a lot of the Armada stuff. I think that's where a lot of that stuff, because I had a bunch of unfinished animation in Armada that was not there in Micron Legend.
Yeah. Anyway.
So
bad to look at.
Yeah. Is there anything else in this episode you want to talk about? I guess this is where the Energon Towers are introduced.
I want to talk about some of the writing, which in a show with pretty bad writing, this was like notably bad, I would say.
The quotes on the TF Wiki page are amazing. Several of them are just captioned with all caps. What?
Yeah. My favorite one is Kicker floating through space and going, "No, I'm alone in space.
Fuck.
Because that's what you say when you're alone in space. No, I'm alone in space.
Yeah.
I'm all alone in space. I want to talk about Optimus directly speaking to Primus at the end.
Oh yeah. So
are you there, God? It's me, Optimus.
So yeah, I know that one of the weird things about the Energon dub is they like early on they for some reason talked around Primus a lot. He's just there. Like Optimus just calls him up he just Zoom calls God in the control room and tells him what's up.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, he just has a direct line to Divinity and he tells him about their stupid fucking battle. And he's like, there was a big Unicron asteroid that we had to blow up. And Primus doesn't say anything because presumably this is fucking beneath him. And
then Dr. Jones shows up and he hugs Alexis and she very clearly does not hug him back.
Yeah, it's like I said, quite literally, I believe the line in Superlink is, Alexa, you've become so mature and sexy lately.
Yeah.
Jail.
Dr. Jones and me. Get this guy out of my life.
Get him out of here.
No one wants him here anymore.
Get him and his whack-ass haircut out of here. But yes, he's got a plan to protect the Earth from all these nasty Terracons. He's going to build Energon Towers. Let's go. Which brings us to episode 10.
Energon Tower.
Fittingly enough, called Energon Tower, or in Superlink, up here, Energon Tower. Kicker is mad about his dad being in town and treating him like a kid again while he's working on building the Energon Tower. Megatron returns from another Energon raid to check back in with Unicron. He plays around with Unicron's tentacles, makes a new mobile base, and reformats his sword because he's really mad about the Autobots using a bunch of copies of the old one. He then decides to attack Ocean City because that's where Optimus probably is right now. Kicker, who couldn't stand being around his dad, has gone somewhere else, and so is not there when the Decepticons attack. His sister gets him to come by telling him their dad is injured, and he helps everybody out. But his dad was actually fine. That was just a total lie. Dr. Jones wins the battle by deploying the Energon Tower and repelling the Decepticons. Megatron is mad, and Alpha Q snuck in and stole all of his Energon when he wasn't looking, and is now working on reviving Unicron's head.
Okay, so What's going on? What is Megatron trying to do?
Okay, so this is where this sort of vicious cycle arrives with the Megatron. So he needs Energon to revive Unicron so he can attack Earth and conquer the universe. The place with the most Energon is Earth. So he has to attack Earth, but he doesn't have the Energon to attack Earth. So he needs the energy. Do you see the problem? Do you see this sort of horrible cycle that he's stuck in? He just has to attack Earth, but he doesn't have the resources to attack Earth, so he keeps getting his ass beat because he doesn't have Energon, because he needs Energon, but he can't get Energon from anywhere other than Earth.
But he doesn't want to revive Unicron, but then he does want to revive Unicron, but then he becomes part of Unicron again?
He plays with Unicron's tentacles. He has a great time. He puts his sword in like a... What the fuck is the thing that reformats his sword? Did you see that shit?
Yeah, I did. It's one of like 3 notes that I have for this episode. You mean the screaming faces?
Yeah, the pillar of screaming face crystals?
Yeah, the screaming faces that give him the Infinity +2 sword.
It's a sword that is just strapped to a small version of his Armada alt mode. It's a tiny tank he wears on his arm. It looks terrible. He's literally wearing a tank wristwatch with a like switchblade coming out of it. Yeah, so the Unicron thing, it's much clearer in the sub, but yeah, I think in the dub they got lost with what Megatron actually wanted. Megatron's goal is that he wants to revive Unicron to use him as a weapon. That is what he wants. Regardless of whatever the fuck the dubbers thought was happening.
Yeah. So, yeah, I have 3 notes for this episode. We already talked about one of them. My other one is that I'm not sure that I like them coding the Joneses as Jewish and or New Yorker when so Dr. Jones is trying to get Kicker to hang out with him. And he goes, "Come on, let's go out. I'll treat ya. I may even throw in a knish if you're lucky."
What?
Yep.
Oh my god. That obviously not a thing in the sub. He does try to get
No, you don't say? They don't mention the knishes in the Japanese version?
He does call him
croquet.
Yeah, he does call him Junior all the time, though. He keeps calling Kicker Junior.
Yes, that is true in the dub as well.
Okay, good. I'm glad they kept that, because man, that would fucking... You're like the cool Energon guy. You're hanging out with your boys, and then your dad comes along and says, "Hey, Junior, want to go out for some fucking burgers?
Want to go out for a knish? Potato koroke."
Yeah, and Kicker says, "No, Dad. I'm gonna hang out with my girlfriend." God.
And then the other thing that I was going to know, which I noted to Nero before we started recording, but not since, is that I think it was before, that again, this episode like starts with Megatron looking at all of the Terracons and going, "Okay," or like going, "Mark my words, I'm going to build my own fortress," and then immediately cuts to the fortress popping into existence.
Yeah, like in Superlink, they're getting some Energon out from Mars, because there is Energon places other than Earth, I guess, but it has the most Energon. Like Lunar City and Mars City are kind of cleaned out at this point. But yeah, he used the Energon to make a new fortress. And we know the fortress because it was in the previous episode in Superlink, so it's not that big of a deal. So yeah, I mean, this is just kind of a big action episode. They're trying to fight off the Terracons so they can get this huge ass Energon tower up. The Energon towers are like big, kind of almost space elevators that are stationed. They're going to be stationed in all of the 4 main like Earth Cybertron cities. And when you turn them on, it makes like a big shield around the planet that prevents Terracons from touching it, because It's cool Autobot Red Energon and not evil Unicron Energon.
Yeah.
I guess. Or anything else interesting happens.
I'm back.
Oh, they go to. Oh, that's where I was like, where the fuck did Kicker and Misha go? They went to Jungle City. I was like, where the hell did they even go?
Oh, right.
They went to Jungle City. I don't know why. I guess it's probably nice up there. I don't know.
Is this the episode or is it the next one where Sally lies about?
It's this episode where she's like,
Yeah.
Kicker, come quick. Dad's hurt really bad. And it's like, actually, I lied. There's another way to make you come here.
And he's like, why would you do that? And you're like, Kicker, you can't hate your dad this much. And then you see the next episode and you're like, oh, no, you can. You're right.
You're the one who
That's
dangles him down
fair.
a fucking mine shaft. First we get just cutting his airline and sending him sort of floating through empty space in the asteroid belt. And next we get him dangling Kicker down a gigantic pitch black mine shaft on the moon. Like
Yeah.
he's a fucking, I don't know.
Yeah, I want to kill Dr. Jones. Again, I feel my opinion about Kicker has changed a lot after these episodes.
He makes a lot more sense, I'll tell you that.
It's like, he's still not enjoyable as a character, but like he does, I will actually give it to him that he does get less annoying with each episode for the most part, because the more he adjusts to being around other characters, the less obnoxious he is about it.
Yeah, like, they drop the I hate Transformers thing pretty early on.
Yeah.
Because I think they knew that, like, oh, that's going to be a hard sell for a kid, right?
Yeah.
And they focus instead on his shit with his dad, which makes a lot more sense for why he is the way he is.
Right. So, like, he does get better, and also, it's like, man, I would not be an enjoyable person if this was my dad either. Like,
No, absolutely
fair
not.
enough, dude.
I really like Alpha Q literally just busting down the back door of Unicron and stealing all of Megatron's energon while he's not looking. That's quite funny.
Yeah.
Because he takes literally all his soldiers and goes to Earth, and Alpha Q's like, it's free real estate.
It's so funny, like, how much these two guys are, like, sharing, and that they have the same goal.
They have the same goal for different reasons. They have the same, like, infinite army of birds and cats. Like,
I don't get it. Like, I don't get why they're fighting.
Look, I mean, if you think Megatron's gonna, like, cooperate with someone else? No.
And in the next episode, oh my god, like, he can Alpha Q cannot make a decision for his life. In the next episode, every 5 minutes, he's like, I changed my mind.
Yeah, he does have three faces. It's getting crowded in there. Yeah, I don't think so. Yeah, they turn on there's a good moment here I like where when they like drop the Energon Tower in from Cybertron via space bridge in the middle of the fight. And Megatron looks up at it and goes, "What the hell is that?" And Tidal Wave goes, "Big."
Okay, that's pretty good.
Big. And he knows about being big, so you know. There's a bit in this episode where Hotshot tells Inferno that he's on top. Happy Pride, everyone. Can we identify? Here's a question.
Yeah.
Can we identify a single character trait that Inferno has yet?
No, I can't even identify his voice.
He's just there.
Yes,
He's just vibing.
Yeah, no, we just did identify one. He's a top.
That's true. That's all we've got to go on. But yeah, he's really like kind of I don't think he's done anything.
He's done nothing.
This episode is like the most he's ever done.
Yeah.
Because like everyone.
Well, there was one episode last week where he had like an opening monologue.
That's true, but that's the thing that Energon does. That Energon, for some reason, really likes to give Inferno like opening
because
monologues.
He's not doing anything else.
True. I think eventually Inferno becomes kind of like the nature lover, kind of the like laid back stoic guy. But right now he's literally just a dude. Like, I mean, I guess, the rest of Team Prime are either guys from Armada who have already been characterized fairly well, or Ironhide, who, despite being annoying, is a character. I can't identify character traits about Ironhide.
Yes.
Inferno, who even knows? Maybe someday he'll do something, but regardless. Is there anything else from Energon Tower?
No. This was my least notes heavy.
Yeah, I mean, it's the least stuff that happened. Like, They built their new RTS building to stop the fucking TerrorCon wave. That's all that happened.
They constructed additional pylons.
So it's time to move on.
Like the legend of the penis.
Yeah, Legends episode 11, The Legend of Rodimus, or in Superlink, This Tiny Universe. Very different title.
Like the legend of the penis.
Kicker. We open up on Kicker and Blizzard Study looking for Energon at the behest of his father because those Energon towers are hungry boys. But he's not really happy about it, and he remembers the time his dad dangled him down a fucking mine shaft on the moon, like we talked about. He's not the only unhappy camper in this episode because Megatron returns to Unicron in his big flying base, and instead of the door he expects to be there, he just crashes it through the wall because all of the alterations he made using like the Energon he gave Unicron have reverted because Alpha Q stole all his Energon. So he's pretty mad about that. He can't really decide what he wants to do. But he sends Scorponok off to get some fucking Energon from Mars. And Scorponok uses that time to give Starscream the in to kill Megatron. Meanwhile, Ironhide and Hotshot and Kicker talk about some guy named Rodimus who did something important, but ultimately it's not really what this episode is about very much. He was a guy who he was like a great warrior from the days of the Great War who decided he was tired of the fighting and took a group of enlightened Transformers to explore the universe. And Hotshot says he really respects that guy, and Ironhide says that he also respects that guy. Anyway, Starscream's attempts to kill Megatron go really badly because Megatron has gained the ability to combine his consciousness with Unicron and basically put Starscream in a BDSM torture mind palace until that's the end of the episode.
Yeah, he creates the torture nexus from Do Not Create the Torture Nexus.
Oh, and Rodimus is on Mars, and he's probably going to fight Scorponok. That's the actual end of the episode.
So, the description of Rodimus, when they're telling the story, is some, eventually Kicker's like, you keep talking about this Rodimus guy, like, who is he? And Ironhide's like, you don't know about Rodimus? And Kicker's like, I'm literally a human. Why would I know about this guy?
That is really funny. I was like, I'm not a Transformer, dude. I don't know this shit.
Yeah, he's like, I'm literally a 19-year-old human. Why the fuck would I know this? And anyway, the response is some real somehow Palpatine has returned type shit. The actual sentence was, unfortunately he left and went into the future and no one has seen him since.
Yeah, went into the future. That's also the language they use in Superlink. It's very vague. Because what it sounds like is that he just fucked off and nobody knows where he is. But I guess we know where he is. He's on Mars. Like the Autobot side of this episode really doesn't have a lot going on.
No, but it is notably bad. So there's like that line. There's the Ironhide is talking about like what a great warrior he is and how he like left Cybertron to fight baddies, I guess. And Kicker's like, sounds like he kind of deserted Cybertron actually, but go off. They're like showing the war and it's like 20-second of explosion.gif. Yeah. Just over a painted background of Cybertron.
Look, at least they remembered to put the background in this time.
It's so bad. It's so jarringly not the rest of the animation style, and it lasts for so long. Yeah.
Once again, we gotta create a segment called like fucking the trial of Dr. Brian Jones. More evidence to be put in this fucking scene of him dangling Kicker down a mine shaft.
When we do the awards at the end of the season, we can do the Dr. Jones Award awards for being a criminal.
He's getting shot out of a cannon into the fucking sun. Like crazy. Like truly Truly, the amount of child endangerment, absolutely wild. He just, I know, I'm just gonna use my son to get all of these cool rocks. But let's talk more about the Decepticon side of things. That's where things actually kind of happen.
We
Can
learned that
Alpha Q
Megatron
stop losing guys. He keeps losing guys every time.
We learned that Megatron can answer the question of, would you fuck your own clone?
Yeah. I mean, Armada
we
Megatron.
don't get the answer, but we learned that he can do it.
We know the answer. Armada Megatron is a huge fucking egotist. He would absolutely fuck his own clone. Starscream, I mean, he gets the hit. He plunges his fucking sword right into Megatron's spark, but Megatron is a dirty cheater who has Satan powers, so you know.
It's rough, buddy.
And yeah, like we said, Megatron does a whole bunch of stuff. He makes himself into a big floating holographic head, and then puts fucking Starscream in the torture Nexus and just starts beating the shit out of him.
Yeah, he's like, are you afraid of the dark? Hope not, because you're going to be here forever.
Yeah, so there's an interesting change here. In the sub, he's like telling Starscream, like, forget your name. Like, I'll destroy the past. I am all that matters. In Energon, the energy is different. Because he's beating the shit out of Starscream, but he just keeps saying, say my name, Starscream. Say it. Say my name. Say my fucking name, Starscream.
No one is around you. Say, baby, I love you.
What's their safe word?
Oh, they are not. They are not SSC.
They are not practicing properly. Absolutely.
There is nothing safe, sane, or consensual about any of this.
And like you said, Alpha Q just kind of goes, what do I do here? Oh shit. Oh no. Oh no, oh fuck, oh well.
Okay, bye.
Like, man, this is the second fucking, like, henchman you've lost to Megatron. You gotta stop sending these guys in here.
Yeah. Man, they have massacred my boy. I'm so upset, man.
Like, okay, the side shots are the most egregious because I can tell. Like, this Starscream more than any of them, I think, suffers from just directly modeling things off of the toy. Look at this.
Yeah.
Look at this profile shot here. I had this toy as a kid. It looks exactly like this. The weird hinges on the arm, like the way he's holding his gun.
Wow.
That is literally you could do this pose with the toy. And like, I ultimately think that if you took the idea behind this character design, this kind of battered spectral Starscream, it could look really cool if you adapted it properly into like a thing that wasn't just the toy.
Yeah. That does suck, honestly.
He is one of the few Transformers whose knees can move, though. Look at that. A lot of the other ones just kind of slide around.
Well, good for him. He should get something. Yeah. Oh, we do at the very end, as Nero mentioned, get Rodimus. I hate his voice.
Oh, yeah,
it's
I remember. It's
just a little too slow.
I do remember Dub Rodimus having a very slow voice.
And I don't like it. This is sort of what it sounds like.
Very grandiose and slow. I would just like to shout out the dub for this line, which I think is actually kind of good. After Megatron puts Starscream in the torture Nexus, he says, "Are you afraid of the dark? Well, you should be, Starscream, because I'm in it."
Yeah. That was fun. Yeah, no, he's like, and you're gonna be here forever.
And he does the raging demon to him.
Yeah.
He says Starscream die 1,000 deaths.
And then the episode ends.
Yeah,
great.
that is
another great week from us, folks.
Like, this was, why are there 2 cliffhangers this ends on? I was like, oh fuck, Team Rodimus is here on Mars. What's gonna happen with Starscream? It's like, I don't know. I don't know what happened. Megatron turned into a big head and chased him around like it was fucking Reboot. Oh man, I just do not know. I just do not know what's going on. We have... You people are fucking freaks. I don't know why we get so many questions for Energon. Where's energy for any of the good shows?
Listen, it's Pride, and I am a big believer in kink at Pride, but this is a level of sadomasochism that I'm not quite sure I'm comfortable with.
Just like Megatron and Starscream.
Yeah.
It's not SSC. All right. How about you take us through these questions?
Yeah, my pleasure.
Your pain.
Short Knock Chat asks, is Energon the podcast Joker moment? I mean, I'm not even sure what we're doing is coherent enough to be considered a Joker moment, honestly, at this point.
I think eventually we will get truly Joker-fied when the show, like, degrades even further, when they're just flying through nondescript space and just... Oh boy, it's gonna get real rough out there.
I disagree, actually. I think if we had a Joker moment, it was, in fact, the first episode when we lost it over the Jerker for like 2 minutes straight.
The Jerker!
The Jerker!
The Jerker.
When that was somehow the funniest thing either of us had heard for like 2 minutes straight. That was pretty incoherent.
It's because we're in the fucking sensory deprivation chamber that is Transformers Energon.
Yeah. Nero from Disney Minus asks, what are some 9/11 conspiracy theories that people might have in the Energon series? What about the other TF series?
Oh man, like in this series, Transformers are like a fucking public knowledge thing. The conspiracy theories must be fucking crazy.
Hey, jet fuel might not be able to melt steel beams, but Energon inside of a F-15 jet?
I thought you were gonna say Jetfire. Jetfire did 9/11.
I was thinking Starscream, but sure. Blame it on the shuttle, I guess. Oh, well, no. Oh.
Null rays can't melt steel beams. Oh, boy,
9/11 jokes. Classic. Other TF series, I mean, I think, certainly in the Bayverse, they're somehow responsible for it.
I mean, in IDW, there was that time the Decepticons just invaded Earth and, like, killed a whole bunch of people.
Honestly, the only time Astro Train has actually been funny was when he transformed on the subway line in New York.
Killed everybody.
And killed everyone at the station.
I think it's Skywarper says, "Oh yeah, I killed all of Beijing." No, it's Megatron who just kills all of Beijing.
Yeah.
Like he just returns from off panel and all Megatron's like, "I just got done. Just clocked out of work." Leveling Beijing. It's like, God damn, dude.
Can't help being a genocide. But you're supposed to sympathize with him later on. It's fine.
This is why All Hail Megatron. It's like a really weird comic.
And it's why I am bitter about MTMT to this day.
Like, I'm pretty sure Skywarp, like, blew up at least 7 fucking cities, and he was a member of G.I. Joe later.
Yeah, well, that tracks, doesn't it?
True.
That's sort of what G.I. Joe does, now isn't it? As long as they were brown people cities, it's fine. Sidewinder Sabrina asks, we've talked a lot about Optimus / Megatron relationships and how much they love each other in one way or another, like Earthspark and Prime. But what about hate? What series do you think Prime and Megs have the most pure, unadulterated, 0% love-hatred between the two? I would like to nominate Armada, since the devil literally said that their two's hatred for each other was fueled him, and their last fight was bringing him back to life.
Yeah, I mean, I struggle to think of anywhere that doesn't get quite as, like, intense as the final fight in Armada.
I mean, to a different... I don't think it's as intense, but I do think it might be the same extent, just in a different way in G1.
Well, yeah, like, they're just, like, bitter, and I mean, yeah, because they have a totally different history.
Yeah.
In the G1 cartoon. They were not once, like, brothers. Megatron blew up Orion Pax when he was a dock worker. That's their history in that show.
Yeah.
They could also see, I mean, so like Cybertron is kind of a weird thing because it's technically a sequel to Energon, but also not, because of weird disconnect between Takara and Hasbro about the intention for that show. But in that one, definitely Megatron and Optimus are very bitter enemies. No fond history between them in that one.
The thing about G1 is it's much less personal.
Yes, it is like Megatron must be stopped because he's bad. I also think we haven't gotten to it yet, but I do know that Optimus Primal and Megatron in Beast Machines have some super intense like conflicts.
Beef. Yeah. And I kind of like that about G1 because it's really just like Optimus throwing darts at a board saying I've had about enough of this guy.
Yeah, it's like fuck this guy. Like there's just no fondness, none of that. But yeah, I mean, Armada is the one that had. Look, I guess it can't be all hatred because that was the one where a good chunk of that fight is Optimus laying on the ground, groaning, covered in like a white liquid, while Megatron demands satisfaction from him. So, like, there's something else going on there. I don't know. You know?
Yeah. If you could assimilate into some kind of structure, what would you choose and how much control would you exert?
What building would I like to become?
I would assimilate into a roller coaster.
Why?
Fun.
But, like, is it fun to be the roller coaster?
Maybe.
Like, would you be in the cars or on the tracks? If you're just the tracks, then, like, that could get kind of boring.
I'd be the whole thing, so I'd be the cars and the tracks.
Ferris wheel. Similar vein.
Yeah.
Nice views.
I'd assimilate into a jail and open all the doors. Prison abolition
There
now.
we go. That's what hashtag did that one time.
Absolutely.
Hacked into the prison and opened all the doors.
Yeah. 100%. I'll put Rikers into the ocean myself.
That's right.
And do you own any cool rocks?
I used to have a geode when I was young. I don't know what happened to it, but it was like a geode that was like split down the middle, and it was like purple and white crystals. It's very cool.
Yeah, I used to have a bunch of cool rocks. Also, don't know what happened to them. I used to collect seashells. That doesn't really count. I have cool rocks in the form of like jewelry. I have some nice jewelry.
Used to have like some fossilized seashells that I got from like a museum in Oklahoma, I think. I used to have some cool rocks. I don't have any cool rocks currently.
I actually just bought a new pair of amethyst earrings that are in the shape of clubs, like the club symbol.
Oh, like the suit?
Yeah, like the suit. And it's purple amethyst, green amethyst, and citrine in each of the circles. So those are nice. Those are cool rocks. Mm-hmm. Slipstream Sam asks, how would it affect each show in turn if the giant floating baby head from Phineas and Ferb was swapped with Megatron's big-ass floating head from Energon? I never watched Phineas and Ferb. I'm too old for this.
I think I was like just outside of like the upper age bracket for that show when it started airing. And even if I wasn't, I never really watched a lot of Disney Channel as a kid. That was all about Cartoon Network and Nicktoons and Nickelodeon. Yeah.
And WB. Back when it was WB, before it was CW.
I did watch some WB Kids, some fucking Shaolin Showdown and shit.
Oh, hell yeah. WB 11, Saturday mornings. That's where Yu-Gi-Oh! Was. You know I like a Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yeah. But yeah, I never really watched much Disney Channel.
Veer asks, thoughts on Tubi changing their colors from red and black to purple and yellow?
Did they go through a rebrand? I'm not using Tubi for this one.
I am, and yes, they did. I also used Tubi for MasterChef, and I like the colors. It was hard to find at first. I was like, "Where's Tubi?" Would fights be better if there were more bird call that MP3s playing at the same time? No, God, please. Why do you want to hurt us?
Look, just use they should like peek forward in time. And look at the techniques of one of our finest auteurs, James Wynn, director of Birdemic Shock and Terror. And that's the soundscape they should be using for these battle sequences.
Should more human companions ask questions only to answer said question as if they were arguing with someone else?
Yeah, there's a line the character was like, oh my god, what are we going to do? Well, I'm sure Optimus will figure it out. It's like, well, good, man?
Did Mr. Kicker's dad come up with the city names, or was someone else a fan of Mega Man X level naming?
Yeah, because we got fucking Ocean City, Jungle City,
Plain
Desert
City.
City. Well, Plain City got fucking glass. That one does not exist anymore.
But we had it.
We had it. Then we have Blizzard City, which is the mountain one. I do think it was Dr. Jones naming all this shit. Because he's a fucking
Add it
hack.
to his crimes.
He's a goddamn hack.
Why is Mr. Kicker's dad's chin so pointy? It's where he hides all his criminal intent.
That's right. He's hiding all of the evidence behind his chin in the shadows. It's like Bubble Bass hiding the pickles.
What's your pants name?
Hotshot.
Ironhide. That's a good one, actually.
Ironhide wouldn't be like a bad name for like a sort of outdoorsy like clothing brand. Like you get like high durability cargo shorts and stuff. That's not a bad name.
Or an otter known for his steel ass cheeks.
That's right. Ironhide.
Sabrina asks, would shoving a soul sword into someone else's soul to corrupt them work on you, or is Night Scream just a weenie? I don't know about the sword part. I think that'd probably just kill me. But I do think being put into Torture Nexus would do it.
Yeah, the Torture Nexus seems rough. I don't know. He literally just takes you to the go fuck yourself dimension. I'd be saying his name ending that, let me tell you that.
Oh my god, there's so many fucking questions.
I'm telling you, where was this energy for fucking, like, Prime or Earthspark? Why are we all talking about Energon?
It's probably because we have nothing else to
True.
to talk about.
We do have to pad the time out to a normal length.
Chet asks, has the madness consumed you yet, or is your will strong enough for 40 more episodes? This is actually one of our more coherent ones, I think.
Yeah, these were mostly normal, other than the thing not being in the first episode.
Right. I mean, I think it was one of our more coherent recordings, is what I mean.
Yes.
And I think that's mostly because very little happened, so there was very little for us to get distracted by.
The madness will set in once we kind of get out of the Earth zone and into space, where all of the really stupid shit starts happening.
I mean, we're there.
Oh, we aren't even there yet. We're not. You don't know what's coming. I feel like I'm stumbling in the last survivor of my village. Like, you don't know the terrors that are on the way. They're gonna turn Demolishor into a dump truck.
Oh, got a big dumpy? You're gonna give him a big dumpy?
Demolishor's big dumpy. Okay, well, hello title.
At least there's part of your job done. And we haven't even got into the episode where his big dumpy comes up.
That's right. That's gonna be like a couple more weeks, I think.
Well, more than that, since we're taking a break.
That's true. You get a respite.
And you too, by nature.
That's true.
Unless you want to solo this, by all means. If you're interested in doing this on your own, more power to you. I will not stop you.
Get some fucking guests to subject to, just like drag them in here. You have to watch this fucking dog shit now. Talk to me about it for an hour.
Do my Dolph advertising for me. Get some of my co-stars on. Vera asks, who's your hero who left for the future by hitting the bricks and going to space?
Yeah, like, I don't, that's why exactly
they say he went to the future.
Remembered as a hero. He fucking left the war. He's a deserter. Like, you can talk, like, Oddshot can admire his, like, moral fortitude or whatever, but that's not what they're talking about. They're talking about how he went to the future.
Like, actually, very specifically, they talk about the fact that he went and killed a bunch of guys, and it's like... and then, like...
Wait, where? Were there just
I don't remember
that,
like, but like he left to do like something heroic or whatever, and the Kicker's like, so why did Optimus stay there? It's like, it sounds like Optimus took the easy way out, and like Ironhide has to really quickly be like, no, Optimus is still my ultimate hero. He's so cool. He protected all of us. It was really important that he stayed there, because he's like, yeah, like Rodimus left to forge a new path, and he took a lot of people with him.
So it sounds like he really fucked over the Autobots in the war. He just stole like a third of their forces to like go do something else.
My hero who left for the river by hitting the bricks and going to space is River Song.
Who's my hero who left for the future by hitting the bricks and going to space?
Actually, I take it back. Billy Pilgrim.
Oh, fuck yeah. Yeah, you know, I'll co-sign that shit because that's some real shit you said.
That's a real shit you said. Billy Pilgrim.
Let's go.
If you don't know who Billy Pilgrim is, read a fucking book.
Specifically Slaughterhouse 5.
Yes, specifically Slaughterhouse 5. One of the greatest books ever written.
Mhm.
TBH. Considering that Mr. Kicker's dad stuffed him in a bottomless pit and many other deadly places when he was like 5, I think Kicker has a very valid reason to hate his dad. So what speech would you give to gaslight Kicker into liking his dad? I wouldn't.
I wouldn't.
You know what? He earned that shit.
Yeah, I would tell him that you are perfectly valid in wanting to stay the fuck away from your dad, man.
Yeah.
Go to Jungle City with your girlfriend. You don't got to listen to him call you fucking Junior like he didn't dangle you into a bottomless pit or send you hurtling through the asteroid belt or whatever. Like, you don't have to pretend that shit's real.
As someone who's like watching simultaneously right now Star Trek Discovery, and there's like a lot of stuff with them doing really dangerous spacewalks, it is insane to see them like being like, we're gonna die for real doing this in Discovery, and then watch this and be like, 5-year-olds can do it, it's fine.
That's right.
Werner John Herzog asks, how do you think a Transformers RTS would work? Are we going minimal amount of factions that have vastly different gameplay like StarCraft, or many different factions that have more similar gameplay but slightly different specializations like Age of Empires? If you had to pitch a tutorial campaign for it, what small conflict would you focus on?
I think so. Like, I definitely think a Transformers RTS could work really well, depending on like how you set it up. Right. I think there's a couple of things that are really rich scenarios to mind. Like, obviously, Insecticon Plague is a good one. Like, you're like a team of Autobots trying to repel like the Insecticon Plague from Cybertron. Like, once again, all hail Megatron. That one could work. I could also see like there's like various sub factions of Decepticons infighting. There's a couple of places you could put it where I think it would work pretty well. Like, you would obviously have your hero units, and then of course all of your like generic drone soldiers with a variety of different abilities. I think I'm honestly, well, I guess it's because RTSs just aren't, no one really makes them anymore. They are not really a big like a big priority for a lot of studios. But there was that like baby's first Transformers XCOM that came out a couple of years ago, which I think was a Cyberverse game. And I would also be interested in like a Transformers XCOM, maybe a little bit more difficult than that one, but you know.
Yeah, I mean, as much as I really like the StarCraft style ones, like, I think if you're going to do different factions, doing it like vastly different is very interesting, and having to do like multiple campaigns and adjust to very different styles is interesting. I don't think that would work with something where it's all the same people.
I think you'd have to like you'd have to do sub-faction Decepticons, or like I said, Insecticon Swarm. I could definitely see like sub-faction, like a certain subgroup of like the Constructicons can be a faction. You've got these like Constructicon drones,
right?
And then you're building up your like resources to use Devastator as your big like clearing a path move. And obviously, if you're playing against the Constructicons, you're trying to stop them from forming Devastator. It could definitely work. I think someone should look into that. In
terms of tutorial campaign for it, what small conflict would I focus on? Garrus 9.
No, fuck. Yeah, just having an entire RTS campaign against just Overlord.
Yeah.
Good fucking luck.
Or vice versa.
Yeah, oh man, the tutorial being you as Overlord.
Yeah, give Fort Max 9. Trauma, do it now.
That would be kind of cool. Like, this is how hero units work, and it's like your thing is like you are the most overpowered hero unit. Yeah, I could definitely see that. I think I already said the like Plague of Insecticons for my like tutorial / campaign idea.
Yeah, I'm just thinking that like there are only so many like notable battles or incidents.
You'd have to like kind of stretch your net wide and pull from a variety of different continuities, because you could make a kind of Blender continuity that's basically G1-ish, but like you kind of futz around with a lot of different stuff. But you could do it.
Having, like, oh man, what if there was, like, the end of one of the campaigns was, like, stopping Tyrest?
Yeah, or, you have a end of one of the campaigns be launching the Ark as the Autobots while defending from Decepticon assault.
Yeah.
There's lots of cool... That could be a good tutorial mission, too.
That would be a good tutorial mission. I just think Garrus 9 is a really funny mission to think about.
Just solo Overlord, just fucking tear shit up, yeah.
Also, which Transformer is the most likely to post this? Like, it's a cool rock they found. And it is a post to a Reddit post. This is kind of hard to describe, so I may not answer this one.
What is that? It's like a cylinder. The answer is Cyclonus.
Okay.
He doesn't know what rocks are.
Which Rodimus is the most scrunkly? Oh, this guy sucks.
Yeah, we haven't even seen him yet.
I have. You see him at the end.
Well, you see him in... That's true. Yeah, this version of Rodimus, he looks bad.
He sounds bad.
He sounds bad, and for what I remember, his character's really weird. So yeah, I would say this one's definitely like a fucking low-tier Rodimus.
Veer asks, I'm so glad that after referencing him so many times during Armada that they finally get into the Rodimus lore. What's your favorite Rodimus moment from Armada?
Yeah, another thing that this one at least I can like forgive because it's like ancient history. But I guess he is Hotshot's hero, so you should have talked about him at some point.
How do you go? Oh, sorry.
No, I liked it when he killed all those guys 8,000 years ago and then fucked off.
And then left with like half the Autobot army.
He should, like I was saying, he's a fucking deserter.
He's a hero. Actually, that is a hero in my books. Fuck the army.
True. That's true. Damn.
How do you go about upgrading your iconic soul swords, and what do you upgrade them into? Well, screaming heads.
Definitely not this fucking thing. Once again, he's literally got a tank strapped to his arm with a sword coming out of it. It's not very ergonomic.
I just started playing Monster Hunter World, so I'll say Switch Axe.
I get mine like one of those cool fucking whip swords from Bloodborne or Bleach.
Heybine asks, Hotshot / Rodimus Prime has been, for generations of Transformers fans, the resented stepdad that they could not forgive for accidentally getting their real robot dad, Optimus Prime, killed in the 85 movie, and just being kind of crummy in general. Oh. Yeah, okay. Is Energon the series where they begin to try to rehabilitate Rodimus, even if it's by making him a completely different character?
No, because he's a completely different character, so he can't be rehabilitated.
Also, this is not a rehabilitation.
Do you know about the fucking, what if Optimus didn't die comic someone made of the extremely mad guy who's like, ooh, I can fix it, fuck that guy, Hot Rod, ooh, he got my boy killed.
Yes,
it's so funny.
Oh.
Have you ever been so mad that you write an entire comic about how much one guy you don't like sucks?
No, but I have in fact written fan fiction towards that end, so you know. I just don't have the art skills for comics. Is Energon the series? Oh, sorry, no. It also looks like some new Earthspark episodes are being released this week in the States. As you continue your death march through the last 40 or so Energon episodes, does this release feel like a personal attack? No, I'm glad.
Yeah, there's good Transformers out there in the world.
Yeah. This is self-inflicted. Like, you have to keep that in mind. More for Nero than for me, because they're the one who chose this shit.
This is my fault.
I am an unwilling participant in this.
Along for the ride.
But regardless, it is still my choice to do this podcast. And this is self-inflicted. So I really can't be bitter about other people enjoying better media when I have made the conscious decision.
Plus, we wouldn't even be able to talk about it until the season's finished. So, like,
yeah.
It's something to look forward to at the end of all this.
We have nothing to look forward to at the end of all this. You know what's coming next.
I
do. Veer asks, going off the Earthspark toy commercials, it seems that turning into shirts and pants are coming back in style. How does that make you feel.
No, that shit sucks. Maybe toy engineering has advanced to a stage where the like design of the figures is not entirely compromised like they are in Energon. Oh my god, if they're bringing
Here's the
fucking
thing.
power linksing back in Earthspark 2, oh no.
Here's the thing. If it is more than just shirts and pants, if it is actual gestalts and combiners, I'm for that shit.
I guess it could also be like they could also actually do something thematic with it.
Yeah.
In Earthspark, because that show has themes unlike Energon, which has none.
Yeah. At some point, I trust... First of all, I trust Earthspark's visual guide.
Yes, okay, that's true.
It
They will not
is-
just
it
make
is-
the characters look like their toys.
It is probably the most aesthetically pleasing show I've seen of the Transformers.
Oh, for sure.
So I trust its aesthetic senses enough that I don't think that will be an issue. I also trust that the choices they make are going to be meaningful choices. So
I just had a bad reaction because I my
know.
mind flashes to all of the fucking
because they look
ugly
like
ass-
shit here. Because they look like shit here.
terrible. All of them look fucking, even the ones that were like probably designed to go together, like Jetfire and Ironhide and Hotshot and Inferno. Everyone looks terrible.
They look awful. It's like, do you want a cardboard box painted red and yellow? Here you go. It's a square.
It looks like this because he has to turn into pants and or shirt. Oh fuck! If you got two of the same figure, if you got two of the same figure, you could fucking combine them both into a horrible chimera of two Infernos.
into bigger Luke.
Double Hotshot, double Inferno. Yeah, bigger Hotshot theory. It's real.
Do you think they'll add Kicker to Earthspark Season 2 too? But like a
No!
version of him that's actually good and follows up on the interesting concepts of his character instead of having him be like gestures at Energon's Kicker.
There can't. There isn't. I don't think there's anybody who could be a kicker like Analog and Energon because like his origin requires some things.
I need everyone who's listening to this to stop thinking about Energon as being canon to Transformers. To stop thinking about it as something that anyone ever thinks about, ever.
I'll tell you, look, Energon is not one of the series that inspired other people. Armada definitely is. Armada, there is Armada inspiration, a lot of different stuff. Energon...
Absolutely. I'm not saying anything about Armada. I need everyone...
Yeah.
But I need everyone to, like, who's listening to this to stop thinking that Energon meant anything to anyone ever.
Nobody wants to think about it. Nobody who makes Transformers is looking back at Energon fondly. And that people are in the right age range now to do that. If it was possible to look at Energon fondly, someone would be doing it. However, it is increasingly clear that nobody is.
Yeah. What if Earthspark 2 ends up being, what if Energon was good? Okay, first of all, what do you think that would even look like? This is such a bad series. Like, what concepts?
So, like, Energon, it isn't about, like, the big problem is just like, oh, we gotta stop Unicron from being resurrected. And then, like, Unicron gets resurrected and unresurrected 7 times. They fuck around in space for, like, 30 episodes, and then it ends. It's not a show about anything, is the main problem with it.
So first of all, that. And second of all, please see what we just talked about for the last question.
Yeah, see above.
Yeah, see above. Cass asks, wow, Romulus. What's your favorite Romulan moment from Star Trek? Definitely the part where they run into the Romulan ambassador, who's like, we're not really that bad, and like the entire time he's sidling up to Spock and being like, isn't that right, cousin? And like Spock is like, I'm going to kill you with my bare hands, we are nothing alike.
The only Romulan context I have is from the first J.J. Abrams movie. They have that cool ship in there. I like that ship, the like planet cracker. That's pretty cool. It's very spiky.
Yeah, no, oh god, it's so funny where he's just like, isn't that right, cousin? And Spock,
you are not affiliated with me.
And like you can see Spock want to do violence so badly, and like the ambassador sees it as well. It's like, not so different, are we, cousin?
It's like a fucking...
It's great. Romulans are very funny.
Yes.
The idea of actual divergent evolution coming from philosophy is extremely funny. Surak just woke up one day and decided not to do that anymore. And then there were Vulcans.
Yep.
And finally, our last question this week comes from Sabrina. Do you think the dub flub about Hotshot's blaster was supposed to be Rodimus's blaster since they were originally supposed to be the same guy?
Because in the sub, it has nothing to do with Rodimus. It's a fucking blaster gifted to him from The Matrix, which, by the way, last appearance of that gun was in episode, 10, I think. That's it. He doesn't use that gun ever again. I don't know why
you have
he had
it's for special occasions. It's so iconic.
It's Hotshot's iconic blaster. Yeah, but the thing is that, he was Hot Rod in Armada, but they've renamed him to Hotshot in this show, so there's no confusion there in Superlink.
Right.
So, no, there's no reason for that to have happened at all.
Messy.
Everything else. Much like everything else in Energon. It all happened because they were just fucking slapping this shit together at 3 a.m. We've been Prime Cuts. I don't know why I'm doing a lounge singer thing. So long. You can find us on Twitter at Prime Cuts Pod. You can find we're also on the Noise Space Network, noiespace.xyz. Lots of incredible shows over there. Most of them covering stuff that is probably considerably better than the garbage we're shoveling into our mouths currently. I'm Nero. You can find me on Twitter, Dragon Smeeter, on co-host at Dragon Snuggler, and on Tumblr at Cyclones with a 5 at the end of it. I gotta tell you, I have jury duty tomorrow. Still probably going to be more stimulating than watching Superlink.
I'm Audrey. You can find me on Tumblr, Twitter, co-host, and Blue Sky at Optimum on Prime. That's my funny robot internet joke. You can also listen to the other podcast I do called Pod of Greed, which is about Yu-Gi-Oh! You can also, as of today, June 3rd, go to LydiaDisappears.com to sign up for more information about the disappearances of Lydia Fontaine, a new audio drama that has launched today on Kickstarter. You can listen to the entire pilot there. There's a video on demand of the premiere of it that you can find at Lydia Disappear socials on at least Twitter and Instagram. I don't know of anywhere else. Where all of the cast listened to it. There's a really cool video that was put together for the premiere of it. It whips ass. It's so cool. I play a MILF who hates cops. That is canonly my character. How can you resist that? If you want to know more about it, the summary of the show is: after her parents' mysterious disappearance, a bookish teenager and her weird friends struggle to survive the feud over her supernatural inheritance. Our Kickstarter is live. We're trying to get to $15,000 to create the entire rest of this season. The music whips, the voice acting's incredible, the direction, the transitions, the editing. It is such a good pilot. Listen to it, enjoy it, and help us make this happen, because it is seriously one of the coolest things I've ever been a part of.
Well, until next time, everyone, I am going to fire wildly into space at the completely invisible
You can't
Unicron.
do that. You had a target.
That's true. I'm going to shoot at the extremely visible Unicron mobile fortress, transform and roll out.
I'm going to transform and float into space. No, I'm all alone in space. Peach.
Transformers, more than meets the eye. Transformers, more than meets the eye. Transformers, robots in disguise.
Transformers.